Movie Fans Guide to Japan, and be the moderator of today's session with Haruo Nakajima. And without further ado, since we only have about an hour here, first of all, we'll have Mr. Nakajima come up with his daughter Sonoe.
Good morning.
And the lovely lady sitting next to Mr. Nakajima is the lovely Yoko, excuse me. And she's our translator for this session. You probably met her already at the table in the dealer's room. All right, first off, let me give you a little history of Mr. Nakajima. And okay, when people think of the godfathers of Godzilla, they usually think of three men. They usually think of Tomoyuki Tanaka, the producer, Ishiro Honda, the director, and Eiji Tsuburaya, the special effects director. But many feel that there should be a fourth godfather, actually five. You want to include Akira Fukubi, the composer. But definitely the third or the fourth godfather should be Mr. Nakajima, who first wore the Godzilla suit in the 1954 original, and for years up until 1972, he was the main man in most of the kaiju Aiga movies produced by Toho Studios. Mr. Nakajima started out as an actor and stuntman, and continued to play Godzilla as well as King Kong and King Kong Escapes, Rodan in the original Rodan, and Gaila in War of the Gargantuas, Varan, or Baran, I guess they pronounce it in Japan, and then Mogera and Mothra, amongst many others. He played Godzilla in 12 features and monsters in 26 movies, in addition to TV appearances. His skills as a suit actor became so important that he gained additional responsibility of becoming a choreographer of Titanic monster battles in Toho's monster movies. Mr. Nakajima was born on New Year's Day in 1925, or 1929, in Yamagata, Japan. And began, as I mentioned earlier, as a stuntman as well as an actor. First off, I would like to mention, how many of you are familiar with the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards? Yeah. We have a little campaign going to get Mr. Nakajima inducted into the Monster Kid Hall of Fame with the Rondo Awards. And it's a write-in vote. It's category number 35. And we would appreciate if you write in, go into www.rondoaward.com and write in Mr. Nakajima on the ballot for Monster Kid Hall of Fame. We'd really appreciate it. The award, if you're not familiar, is named after Rondo Hatton, who was a character actor in several Universal movies of the 1940s. Okay, now let's get to the questioning here. Okay, first I'd like to start off with a quick overview of Mr. Nakajima's life. What his aspirations as a career and how he became a stuntman and actor.
キングコングが撮影するときにわざわざアメリカから東宝まで日本まで来ていただいてでオーナーですねオーナーが2人来ました
So the first time when the King Kong was first filmed, there were two people who are the owner of the film production. What's the name of that?
でその時のオーナーのゲンは僕に対してどうして東宝にいるんだと日本にいるんだとハリウッドにいらっしゃいと言われてで僕はね内心もそのハリウッドの映画っていうのは全世界を目指してやってるわけですよだから僕も行きたかったんだけど親さんがね相談してくださいとそうしたらね親さんがね次の写真が待ってるからダメだよお前こう言われて
So when I was first approached by those two owners of this film production, I love the name of that name, the film production. Okay, so when I was first approached to appear in the Godzilla movie, it was approached by the Toho Films. The first question they had posed to me was that why you are appearing in Toho movie instead of the Hollywood productions. Now, my impression of the Hollywood movie was it was a worldwide, globally famous. When it comes to Hollywood, I thought it would be a worldwide, a very famous production. So I was a little interested. However, I was told no by my film company because there is another position or role that they already had in the schedule to appear.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I asked him to make it a little shorter. He said,
what was your first movie?
最初の映画は何でしたか？
一番最初ですか？一番
You asked my first movie?
最初の映画ってゴジラですか？
Do you mean by the first Godzilla movie or my
First
first
movie.
ゴジラ以外にも最初の映画何かありますか？それともゴジラが最初でしたか？
いやまあ時代劇が多いですね。割合と何？聞こえない。
I had appeared. He said I had appeared in other movies, other than Godzilla, and there was a movie that I appeared. It's called A Stray Dog.
最初のムービーはちょんまげ。
Okay, so the first movie that I appeared is the one that I had my little hair up in a samurai type of movie with sword. Samurai action.
All right. The image you see up there is from The Eagle of the Pacific, in which he played a pilot on fire.
太平洋の何県だったこれか。
Could
これ
you
は
tell us about
ミッドウ
that?
ェイの作戦で日本の連合艦隊がもう戦艦から航空母艦がいっぱいで突っ込んでいくってで
It was a midway film.
やろうと思
And
っ
the
た
American
ら
army had attacked.
アメリカの空母にやられちゃったで4杯いて
So we were actually attacked by the U.S. Navy,
航空母艦が4杯日本の
Air Force, 4 of them. Air Force. 日本でも
で日本にはねそういうあれがなかったの要するに電波をタッチする技術がね電波をタッチ分かるタッチってエアプレーンアメリカのエアプレーンにもう爆撃食ったバーン
So we were bombed by the
で
US
僕の航空母艦が沈没寸前にこれやられた。
So we were attacked before we were
で僕の飛行機が燃えたわけ。
So we were attacked before our
Hi.
okay, before our submarine was actually attacked and sank. So and then he said I think my airplane got caught in fire.
で本田さんがお前度胸あるなと。
So I was told by Mr. Honda, you have such a nerve.
で次の写真は変な怪獣ものを作るからお前やってくんないかと。
And then so because this experience had led that a producer to come approach to me, ask me, suggest to appear on the very weird monster movie next.
でやったわけ。
And that's how it all started.
で手塚と俺と2人大変だからね2人やんないとできないと。
So it's such a huge production. I was told that they need another person who plays the monster, and which is Mr. Tezuka.
で一番最初テストやったのは手塚。
So Tezuka was the first one who was tested for this role.
で5メーターぐらい歩いてダウンしちゃう。
So him, after the 5 meters of walk or a run, then he kind of collapsed.
で僕は10メーターぐらい歩いてダウンはしなかった。
Okay, so but when it was my turn and I was able to run 10 meters, and then I didn't collapse like the other guy did.
津村さんはお前は元気あるからちょっとずっとやってくれと言われちゃった。
So as a result of the test, I was offered by Mr. Tsuburaya, I think it's the name of the producer, to appear in the Godzilla movie continuously.
ムービーの場合は映画の場合ね強いものが勝つ弱いのはダメ。
When it comes to movie, this is the deal. A strong man wins, a weak man loses.
だから次の作品ゴジラの逆襲の時はお前はゴジラをやれと。
So for the next movie they had planned, which is the Revenge of Godzilla, is that the name? Revenge. I was asked to play Godzilla in that movie.
で手塚はお前はアンギュラスやれと。
And then Mr. Tezuka was asked to play Angulus. Is that how you say it in English? Angulus?
映画の台本を見て調べてね例えば A クラスの人と B クラスの人とで A の方が撮影日数が多いワンカットでも多いカット数が多い。
So when you look at the movie script, and then the difference between the script or the actual filming process for the A-class actor and B-class actor, actually it's more of a hard work for A-class actor because he's got to film for a longer period and there's more numerous cuts for them.
弱い俳優さんの方はカット数が短い、small.
So and actually a number of cut is a lot less for I would say less popular actor B-class.
面白いでしょ。映画というの
Don't you
は
think it's really interesting?
できる人とできない人の相違が 出てくるんです。
So in a world of filmmaking, there are substantial difference between the one that is good and the one that is not as good.
だから強い人は
What I
もう
mean is the
最後
strong
ま
one and the weak one.
でロングまでずーっといくわけ。
So if you are strong, actively considered strong, you can go all the way.
弱いのはもうダメ。
A long, what he calls by cut. But if you are weak, you're no good. You're done.
だからどんな作品でもうんと出る人と出ない人がある。お前はワンカットしかやらないということはワンカットできない
So some
俳優
actors
さん。
only get only one cut, and some get more than one cut.
だから自分が強くなるためには何をするか
So
と
the
いうこ
so question here is that what do you have to do to become a strong actor?
と。だからそのためには自分で勉強しなきゃいけない。
And the key, in order to be a strong and demanding actor, you need to study.
撮影現場で寝てる人いる。
There are some actors who are taking naps during filming.
そういう人は最後まで続かな
Those are the ones who never make it to the end.
い。だから映画というのは厳しいんですよ。
So what I would like to tell you is that filmmaking is a challenging job.
だから一番ね望むのは日本の俳優さんはねやはりハリウッドかなんかで仕事をしたいんです。
So I see a lot of Japanese actors and actresses who would like to make it to Hollywood, and many of them wish so.
なぜかというとアメリカの映画ムービーはマーケットが広いんです。
The reason why is because the market of the Hollywood movies are a lot bigger than what it is for Japanese movies.
まあ日本の映画の場合はもう狭いんですよね。あれ
Japanese movies is a smaller world.
俳優さんというのはやっぱり広いところでやりたいわけですね。
And it's normal for any aspiring actors to dream and wish to make it big.
もっと大きなそのオープンのできる俳優さんになりたいわけですよ
They
ね。
all wish and dream to become a big name, make a big name in Hollywood.
だから渡辺謙さんの場合は偉いですよね。
So you may have heard of the guy's name, Ken Watanabe. So he's one that I respect.
で渡辺謙さん今度アメリカ版ゴジラに
He's the one who was chosen to play a
出る
role,
わけですね。
appear in the Hollywood-produced version of Godzilla for the next film.
私の大好きな三船敏郎という人がいます。
There is this man, Mifune Toshiro Mifune, who is
キャン
my
バル
favorite.
キャンバルで強い要するにアクションの前に
He's
入
an
る。
action star, well-known actor in a samurai.
だから彼はアメリカ映画にも出てますよ。
You will find him appearing in some of the U.S., I would say Hollywood, maybe U.S. movies.
で帰ってきて僕に言うのはねムービーの方がギャラが大きい。
What he tells me is that you make more money in
俺の方が少ない。
俺
ぼやいてまして
彼が少ない
日米合作のって飛行機の映画を撮ったんですね。やっぱねパイロットそれをやったんですよね。
So he played a role as a pilot in one of the U.S. Japanese joint movies, and he has said, "Hey, you make a lot of money."
ムービーの方が俺よりギャラが大きい。こういう白長いなんかギャグ映画に出てくるような俳優さんいました。知らない皆さん、ムービーなんとかムービー。
Okay, getting back to the.
はい。
Okay, getting back to Godzilla, there's a scene in which both suit actors appear as, one was a newspaper editor, Mr. Tezuka, and Mr. Nakajima played a reporter, and we have a still of that here. As soon as it unfreezes.
その場合は本田さんがね、セリフがちょっとじゃないけ
I need to
ど、
go back.
これは浜松でやったんだね。
This was filmed in Hamamatsu.
これはダウンしたところね。
I think we need to go ahead first.
ファイヤーで燃えてね。
I remember there was a fire in the background, burning.
This here is a scene from Seven Samurai. Mr. Nakajima's on the far right.
だから爆弾の飛行機が離艦する時の飛行機。
Yeah, I remember the airplanes taking off.
そこにアメリカの飛行機、
And then in US,
アメリカのエアプレーン
his city
が
airplane
爆弾を落としてバーン
dropped the bomb.
と。で、僕の飛行機が燃えたんだ、ファイヤ
And then I got my airplane on fire.
ー。で、僕の飛行機が飛び降り
We'll
て、
just pause it.
So I
で
got,
甲板の上に倒れちゃう。
so I jumped jumped off or jumped out of the airplane and then fell down on the ground.
How did that, what was the story behind the newsroom scene with yourself and Mr. Tezuka?
手塚さんとですね、新聞のね、新聞の記者のですね、
Although it was a small scene,
事
but
務所でのですね、小さな短いですね、シーンがありますよね。So, what was it called?
how did that come about that they appeared as themselves instead of being in the monsters? Was this for extra money or just for any
か
particular reason?
か
最初モンスター以外に新聞記者で出ましたよね。なんでモンスターの役者だったのに新聞記者で出ることになったんですか？
もうね、お前も顔を見せたいだろう。
I was asked, maybe it's time that you want to show your face to the world.
監督からね、
So the producer just, suggested that, I would show my face.
スモールだからだけども、ちょっとやってくんないかと。
But it's such a little small footage, but maybe something that you can give it a try this time.
それでこれで我慢してくれと。
And so I hope it'll be satisfying enough for just a little short footage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that scene was cut out in the U.S. Edited version with Raymond Burr. But if you get the Japanese version, it'll be right in there. We had it on the disc, but I don't know, we're having a little malfunction. This one here is from H-Man, but we're getting ahead of ourselves up there. Okay.
アメリカ版新聞記者の役の人が東宝に来ましたよね。
So the guy who played our newspaper reporter in American version, Raymond Burr, actually came to visit me at Toho Production.
で彼曰く
Toho.
アクションってどういうふうにするのかと教えてくれと言われてね。で僕は教えてやってね。
So he came first to me for my advice how to act, as an action star.
彼に熱心に聞いてましたよ。
He was very earnest and very earnest. I would remember his earnest attitude.
In fact, the location, the studio in Los Angeles where Raymond Burr filmed his scenes, we have a plaque.
ロサンゼルスのですね、スタジオでばあさんが撮影して、レイモンドばあさんがそれを撮影したロサンゼルス撮影した人があります。You said there's a footage?
No, there's a plaque that's mounted on the location where the studio where Raymond Burr filmed his scenes that they inserted is now an elementary school, and there's a plaque to Godzilla, King of the Monsters on the main entrance.
小学校で撮影した場所の小学校 起因としてですね、そのレイモンドさんがキングコングゴジラを撮影したっていうのは、今小学校なんですけど、ちゃんと一応その数があります。
キングコング
No, it's the American Godzilla.
それのアメリカ版のゴジラですけど、もちろんですけど。
東宝の映画、キングコング撮るときに僕もキングコングに会いました。
So actually, we made a movie called Revenge of King Kong in Japan.
Right. Okay, before that came King Kong versus Godzilla in 1963, or 62 in Japan. It was released here in 1963. And do you have any particular memories of that production?
その制作についてですね、何か思い話があったら
その時にアメリカのそのキングコングを作った人がオーナーですね。それは日本に来たんです。
So I remember the creator or producer or creator of the U.S. King Kong came to visit in Japan. I remember.
でオーナーが僕に対してお前ちょっと悪いけど来ないかと、ハリウッドに。
So the owner came to me directly and invited me to come to Hollywood.
で俺じゃあ分かんないから監督に言ってくれと。円谷さん。
So I don't know if I can answer to that. So would you speak to my producer, Mr. Tsuburaya?
円谷さんは俺に対して言ったの。次の作品は待ってんだからお前を。だから言ってもらっちゃ困ると言われた。
This is what Mr. Tsuburaya told me. We need you here because we have another films already planned for you to appear here in Japan. So don't go to Hollywood.
アメリカのオーナーがガクッとしちゃったね。
Which disappointed the owner of the King Kong producer.
それで消えちゃった。
So the story. So that offer was no good.
であの時 OK していただければ今でもハリウッドにいます。
Oh, now looking back, if I would have said yes to that offer, I would be in Hollywood today.
In 1956, you appeared as Rodan or Radon in Japan. What are the differences in acting as Godzilla and Rodan? Where you were?
ラドンっていうのは空飛ぶわけでしょ。
Radon, as you know, flies in the air, right?
だからラドンに、乗るっていうのかな、手術してね、お前やってみるか。俺も若いしね、度胸があるし、やってみようと。で、ぐーっと飛んだんですよ。
So I was really young and I was up for challenge. It didn't scare me a bit, so I flew.
で、ぐーっと飛んで、最後に上に滑車があるわけですね。この滑車が。
So I was being suspended, as you know.
ワイヤーで知ってますからね。
Wire suspended.
で、ぐーっと行ったのがぐーっと回っちゃった。
So when it just jumped up above, the curve around to the above, then it just kind of spinning. I got spun around.
で、回ったから、この滑車からワイヤーが外れたわけ。
So it's just like the wire hook just got, you know.
だいたい7、8メーターぐらいの高さで落っこったんだった。
Okay, okay. So I was about 7 to 8 meters away from the ground, and then wire got cut off, and it dropped me.
で落ちてもね、やっぱり羽があるからね、だいぶ違うのね。
However, as you know, that I had what's it called?
Wings.
I had wings, so I was okay. So nothing happened. I was okay. Didn't get injured.
Was that in the water that he fell in?
水の中に落ちちゃったんですか？
そう、水は腰ぐらいですね。
Yeah, true. It's true. It was the water, actually.
西海橋橋があってね、バーって行った時は橋が落っちゃった。
Oh, I just flew straight to the bridge and then hit the bridge and fell down.
だからやっぱりね、人間ってのは道具があると怪我しません。
Let me tell you one thing. If you're brave, you never get hurt.
逃げちゃダメなのよ。どんな場合でも。
No matter what happens to you, do not run away.
自分から突っ込んでいかないとダメなの。
You need to be brave and just dive.
そういうことをやるによって監督が目を見てるわけですね。
And I think that caught the eyes of my producers, my bravery.
あいつはよくやるなと思うわけ。
Yeah, so I got them an impression. This man gave it all he's got.
だから目立つことをしないと平々凡々となるわけ。
You got to stand out. You can't be a mediocre. You got to do something that gets other people's attention.
だから要するにスバルさんはね、俺はキャマルマンで監督であると。
Subrasan said, I am a cameraman and I am just a producer myself.
でアクションは私は知らないと。
I'm not the one who can do an action move.
お前はアクターだからアクションできるだろうと。
But you are the actor. You are the one. You can do the action.
オールこの作品に対してアクションがあった場合はお前に責任を持たすから。
In any stages of filmmaking, in any filmmaking process, you making an action, it's all your responsibility.
でも全部アクションはお前に任すからお前がやれと。
All script that require the action move, it's up to you. You make it the way you want it.
ただし失敗したらお前の責任だと。
However, if you fail, you take the responsibility.
だから責任を押し付けるわけね。
So I was forced to be responsible of my actions, take the responsibility of my actions.
だからそれができなかったらお前はダメだ。
If you can do that, and you're good, but if you can't, you're no good.
だから俺は一生懸命それを勉強したわけ。
Now, I wanted to be responsible, so I worked very, very hard.
誰でもね、お前はダメだと言われたくないんですよね。
I think anybody, any of you don't want somebody to tell you that you are no good.
だから一生懸命やる。
And you want to prove that you're good. That's the reason why we work hard, and to prove it.
よし、お前に任してよかったと思わせる。
You want them to tell you, hey, I was right that I let you take responsibility.
そういうことになるわけ。
You did your own things.
Okay.
だからスバルさんが亡くなるまで俺がゴジラずっとやるから。
So as long as Mr. Tsuburaya, the producer, was alive, I was the only person who played Godzilla.
Okay.
Very good. In 1960, as you see, Mr. Nakajima played Mothra in larval form. It was a pretty large suit, and this was before they switched into more smaller mechanical caterpillars. Back in 1960, you wore the
What year?
1960.
1960.
You played the larval form of Mothra, and
Mothra.
right, right, and he was in the suit, and could he tell us about what it was like playing the larval Mothra? I understand there was more than one person inside the suit.
一人以上の人が中に入ってると思いますけども、その時の体験でお話ししていただけますか？
モスラっていうのはね、機械で動いてるんですよ。
Well, Mothra is actually operated by a machine.
なんてね、動いてるわけですよ。
Motorized.
だからね、僕は人間であると、また一つの怪獣であるということで、僕の物体とその機械の物体と合わせるわけ。
So I am a human and I'm an actor and as well as a monster. So there is a mechanical side of it and my, action side of it.
で同じアクションになると、こっちが人間ならばいいけど、お前はまずいからダメだよと言いたい。言えないわけ。こっち機械だから。
Okay, so, the great harmony was required in the movement of the mechanical side and in the human side. So that was the challenge.
だから気持ちが通じないわけ。
The challenge was that, a human versus a machine, and then machines do not understand what we're thinking.
でこれに合わせていくのが私なんです。
Okay. So I am the person who accommodated to the machine.
ね。いいから、もしでこれに調子を合わせていくのが私なんだ。ね。相手は言ってもわからない。機械だから。お前らとは違うんだよ。女の人の話と全然違う。だから僕の腕一つなんだよね。これに合わせていくの。そう。これ機械のエンジン。これじゃ僕は人間として見。これを合わせなきゃいけない。
ゴジラの話。
何？
ゴジラの話ですね。
ゴジラの話。
It's okay. It's okay. I know what you said. So the challenge was that that part of the other like monster or caterpillar, whatever that is being engineered or mechanically moved, right? Operated, and then here I am inside the monster, inside a costume, in the human being, and the most challenging part was to just complement with each other and to have to create a good harmony between those two, working
要す
together.
るにこういうものは僕一人芝居なの。一人で芝居するわけ。こっちで芝居できないの。だから僕は合わせて芝居をするわけ。
こっちも怪獣でこっちも怪獣。So it may be a little off the subject of the Mothra right now, but what he's saying is that he's talking about his experience of fighting with another monster and him being a human being and the other one's mechanically operated. So that's what he's talking about, how challenging it was. And
例えばキングギドラってのあるでしょ。 King Ghidorah.
And for example, you know the King Ghidorah?
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
これキングギドラは怖いやつ。これバタバタこんな動いてる。
See the movement.
こっちは僕は人間。
So it's
こ
the
っちは
mechanical things.
ね、動きがないね、あんまりね。で動きを合わせなきゃいけない。だからポンとぶつかっていって僕はこうなる。アクション。こっちはアクション黙ってる。
Okay, so what happened was that, okay, here is a mechanically, what was motorized or robotics? What's
Well,
the word?
they had-
Back then, it's not robotics.
Well, Ghidorah had a man-in suit also, with wings, but the heads had 3 heads, and the wings, those were all manipulated by,
Manipulated by, Okay.
wires.
okay, so that's what he's talking about. So basically it's the same thing, like this is him as a human being in a suit, and the other one is mechanically operated. Let me just say it that way. So then he will attack him, and then he doesn't respond. He doesn't know maybe he's being attacked, something like that. And then it just I bounce backwards and fall, but he's like standing there, like waiting for somebody to move him.
そういう場合は僕は一人芝居だからね、苦労するんだよ。
So it's like as if like I was acting with a dead person. It wasn't a human being. So I felt like I was just acting all by myself, but the other one was not human.
こうやってぶつかってったらパンパンってなるでしょ。
So
一人芝居。
so I collapsed or I attacked, and then I
自分でこ
fell, you know, backwards, and I felt like I was hitting the brick wall.
だから大変なのよ、一人芝居っていうのは。
So you can't imagine how hard it is to act with no one but by myself.
自分で一人で研究してね、自分でやるわけよ。
So that my action is all determined, you know, it's like at least I had to figure out how to act with that.
こっちはただこうやってるだけだもんね。
Because all he's doing is this.
こっちはこんななってんだ。
Here I am moving, you know, like rampage, you know what I mean?
その頃を知らない人はね、余計なこと言わないでってなるわけ。
I would imagine a lot of people do not really know or understand what a challenging job it is to act, you know, human versus a mechanical figure.
でモスラの場合はね、これでかいやつ作ったの。ビルを大きいの。スモールじゃなくて、でかいの。
In the film of the Mothra, that setting for the city, or you know, city setting, they made a big one, not the small one.
で、私が先頭に立つ。責任手塚が後ろにいて。
Okay, so I was the one who was standing in very front, and Mr. Chizuka was behind me.
で、後ろ俳優さんが5、6人引っ張ってきて。後ろの俳優さん、俳優5、6人持ってきて、後ろにずつ並ばす。ワン、ツー、スリー、フォー。
Oh, okay. So in Mothra, so I was the person in the very front, and then Toho Film had put 5 or 6 other actors. They're all behind me.
で、オーライアクションって言ったら、私が先頭。
So
で、
when
ビ
called,
ルがバンと大きいの。
so when called up action, and then I took the leadership. I was the one who moved, and then went into attacking.
そういうカットもありました。
So that's just what I remember.
Next. All right, next one is on Mothra versus Godzilla, 1964. You had a scene in which you, next one.
Godzilla to Mothra, ne? Godzilla対Mothra,
Not that
1960
one. There's a couple young guys about 13 years ago. You need to go back. That was 2008. You had to tear down Nagoya Castle.
名古屋城もですね、破壊しなくちゃいけなかったですね。
And did the suit head get damaged in a way in that
そ
movie?
の時にスーツがですね、ちょっと破壊で、スーツが壊れたんじゃないですか、名古屋城の。
いや、大阪城のこうあるでしょ。海外の後ろの方、バックの方。ノコで持って切り込み入れるわけ。
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so that wasn't Nagoya Castle, it was at Osaka
Osaka Castle.
Okay, either way,
No,
in or-
Nagoya. That was
so-
Nagoya. not
Nagoya,
this.
okay. So, in order for the castle to be destroyed easily, they already cut the castle in the back with the chainsaw, with the saw. So that you can just, it can collapse, or you can destroy it.
要するにお城が一つあるでしょ。それに僕はぶつかっていくんですよ。要するにその崖が崩れて足のが崩れるわけで、ガクンとこう来てお城が壊れるそうで。
So you may remember the scene of the castle standing, castle builders standing, and I collide into the castle, and then all of the buildings just starting to fall down, and then eventually destroyed.
裏方の美術の人がね、切り込みをやってロープを仕掛けて、1、2、3で引っ張るわけ。
Okay, so those guys who worked in special effects or already had that castle, the back side of the castle already cut, with the saw and with the rope already tied to it. So when he attacks the castle, they're like 1, 2, 3, pull the rope.
で、僕のアクションに合わせて同時にバーンっていくわけ。
So they were watching closely to the way I acted. So when I destroy that castle, they're like watching exact right timing and just ready to pull the rope so that the building can collapse at the same time that I attack.
で、アクションが合わなくて
Oh.
先に壊れちゃう。
So however, they weren't good at watching me closely. So actually before I attacked, they pulled the rope and then castle actually got destroyed or just fall down before I even start attacking.
また1ヶ月もかけて作り直し。
However, it took those guys to build the castle for about a month. That required for another month to build the castle.
だから大して僕の責任じゃない。
However, that wasn't my fault.
裏方の責任。
That's those guys' fault.
で、その当時の値段が当時で50万。
Okay, that it costed them another $5,000. It's $5,000 back then to build another castle.
で、
Rebuild
出
the
来
castle.
上がって僕がやったらまず使ったらでバーンと。
A second time, they did pull the rope at the right timing, so it was a success.
だから映画というのは失敗もあるんだよね。
So now you understand that there's a lot of mistakes being made in filmmaking.
まあ責任がどっちにしてもあるわけ。
But it's not the who to be blamed, who to blame. Everybody's responsible.
だからタイミングが合わない、合う。それが同時にうまくいく。
So it was due to the timing error in this case, and things didn't go as planned.
いろんな面で007でもね、失敗があるということはタンバーに聞いた。
I even heard that filmmaking for of the 007 they make lots of mistakes.
だからイギリス映画も結構あるんだね。面白い。結構ね、NG が多い。まあ、車が壊れてみたりね、いろいろとするわけよ。
So in making of movie of this kind, in making of the movie of this kind, he can imagine how many NGs. I mean, things gotta get busted all the time. So you can imagine the amount of NGs.
丹波哲郎ってご存知ですか？
Do anybody know Tetsuo Tamba?
007
He only lived twice. Yes, he played.
要するに
He played Tiger Tanaka.
イングランドのビ
タイガー田中さん、タイガー田中の役をして
He was the head of Japanese secret.
丹波哲郎僕の俳優学校で同期なんです
Tetsuo Tamba and I went to acting school together.
だからいろんな話を聞かせてくれるんですよね
So he had actually told me a lot of interesting stories.
知らないみんな出てんだよねいろんなアクションやってますよ彼
He's appeared in multiple of action movies.
Did the Godzilla suit head get damaged when he impacted against the Nagoya Castle? Yes, it was kind of jiggly.
名古屋城にですね、当たった時にその時ですね、ゴジラの頭がなんか衝撃で壊れなかったですか？ゴジラが。
そんな話じゃない
No, it didn't happen.
Because his face was kind of wobbly in certain scenes.
Face?
The face
ちょっ
was
と顔
jumped.
がですね、ちょっとグラグラした覚え、顔がゴジラの顔でちょっとグラグラした覚えがあるんですけど。He says no. It wasn't wobbling.
Okay.
Just accept it.
ジャーナリストっていろんなものを書きたいんですよね
Fans are always asking about that.
He said that people like to talk about rumors. That's not true.
All right. You retired after Godzilla versus Gigan in 1972. How different were the movies being made at that time from when you began in
最後はね、映
mid-1954?
画はね、ガイガンでしたよね。その後、退職されたので、長いゴジラの撮影の中でですね、一番最後、どこが違ってましたか、当初の映画と比べて。
ゴジラのわかんないんだなうまくやったつもりならずっと全部でもミステイクはないんだよね僕の場合は
なんか、多分質問の内容は、だんだんほら、何作目何作目重なるにつれて、映画の撮り方、やり方もいろいろ変わってきたと思うんですよ。最後はどこが違いますか？
変わってくるということは台本が一人が変わってくるわけでしょだから一人が変わるってことは台本が変わるってことだからいろいろと最初のゴジラってのは一番怖い環境を出してあるだから次の作品はその子供が見る映画であるとだからある人はねたまにはアクションやってゴジラは血を流してみたらどうかとで千葉さんがそれは怒っちゃってね子供に見せる映画にその血を流していいものかどうかこれをお前考えてみろと。
So over the different installments of the Godzilla movies, of course there are some changes being made each time. Like for example, the first one, the image. I mean, and then also different movies, different stories, and different script. So for example, the first one, they wanted to create the image of Godzilla as a monster, a scary monster. And then a second installment, the producers thought of making it more kids-friendly. So they wanted to attract children, so that forced that character of Godzilla to be a little different. So if that's what you're asking?
But at the time when he retired,
Right.
Ichi Sugura had died in 1970, and
杉浦さん1970年の最後の方、杉浦さんが作った映画で1970年ほとんど最後の方の時に
Budgets were cut.
例えば何が違いました？例えば予算も随分カットされたんじゃないですか。まあ最後の
It just,
予算のことは僕は分かりません。
じゃあいいですね。Okay, so what like other than the budget, like
at the time it was written that he had lost, the enthusiasm for making movies after Mr. Subaraya died, and then they were relying more on stock footage and things of that nature, cutting budgets. What went into his thinking about retiring from movie making, and what did he do afterwards?
OK。じゃあ退職後のね、ちょっと人生のことを少し話していただきます。で、まあ1970年の映画が最後で、その後人生どうガラッと変わったかどうなりましたか。ゴジラを
そうね、前はいろんな鉄筋のコンクリートで作ったものとか、石膏で作ったものとか、いろいろと建物がいっぱいある。それを要するに円谷さんはね、わざと壊しちゃいけないと。自然の成り行きで壊してください。
ご自身の人生についてどうガラッと変わりましたか。ゴジラ役として知られてた人生と俳優辞めてからの話。人生ね、ゴジラの俳優としての人生からガラッとどう変わりましたか。
やっぱり俳優さんってのは全部悪いけどやめてもらいたいということで、やめたら自分の子会社、例えばボーリング場とかそういうところでやってもらいたいと。
Okay, so the actors who belong to the Tofu film were actually laid off at that time. So we actors were actually given a choice to go off on our own and starting their own businesses, such as to run like bowling alley or something like that, whatever the business that they dare to establish. But some are actually given a choice to remain in the production company.
要するに日本には要するに映画会社っていうのはね、東宝ですね、うちの会社ね、松竹、日活、東映、新東宝、5社。
You might have caught him saying a Japanese word, but there are like 5 main film companies or production companies in Japan, such as Toho and Shochiku and Nikatsu and Toei and Shin Toho, and the 5 major production companies.
で一番最初に俳優さんを全部食い切った。それは新東宝。
So what they did is to just let off the actors first before anybody else's.
でその次は日活。
So he's naming all those companies, but that all of the companies started doing the same thing, one after another.
ね、松竹。
So Nikatsu did that second, then and Shochiku.
で東映。
And then Toei.
で最後に東宝がやっぱりお前らいらない。
So Toho comes the last. Hey, we don't need you anymore.
で一人ぐらい残してもいいんじゃないかって僕は言ったことある。
I remember myself making a suggestion. Maybe you should leave one actor.
みんな一緒だからしょうがない。やめてもらいたい。
However, I was told that we have to be fair to everyone, so you need to go.
で、ただし、少しペをあげるから、子会社に。
Okay. However, I can offer you an opportunity to remain in the company and I will give you a raise.
一番最初はボーリング場。
I'm sorry, I just have to make sure that he was suggested either to run a bowling alley,
で、ボーリング場をダメで、
or to work for, I'm sorry, I have to clarify, work for the bowling alley. But actually he was suggested to work for it.
で、1年ぐらい経ったらボーリング場はダメになった。
But it didn't last even a year. It went out of business.
それで次はボーリング場やめて、西尾大工センター。
So that
DIY。
DIY, he said that a home center is like home center. So this another second job after the bowling alley was working for a home center.
それからそれが終わって今度は麻雀センター。麻雀。ゲームセンター。
What they call game center.
Like a chinko parlor or something like that, or arcade?
Arcade, something like that. Yeah. So that was the job afterwards.
で、そのうちに定年だし。
And then by the time I knew, then I was retired. Okay, so what he says mahjong, it's there's no word in English, but it's just anybody knows. Okay, mahjong.
今でも撮影所は残ってるけれどもね、みんなテレビの俳優さんばっかり。
So what's happening with Toho film today is that all the movie actors are gone. However, still the TV actors still remain in the office.
And what was your last acting job? Have you had any since your Godzilla days?
Godzilla のですね、何か演じたことありますか？ゴジラの以降、何か演じたことありますか？以降に俳優の仕事されたことありますか？
ないですね。